Lamborghini tried to end Pagani. Pagani and Lamborghini are two of the most recognizable brands in the field of hypercars. Both brands are responsible for producing breathtaking supercars such as the Huayra and the Revuelto. In a remarkable turn of events, Horacio Pagani began his professional life working for Lamborghini before leaving to launch his own company. However, it's interesting to note that if Pagani hadn't spent some time at Lamborghini before starting his own company, it's possible that it would have been doomed from the beginning. However, Lamborghini tried severally to beat the likes of Pagani but failed. So how did Lamborghini inspire Pagani to start his own car company? It all started in Casilda, a small town in the middle of the Argentine countryside. Horacio Pagani, whose mother was an artist and whose father was a baker, cherished his time spent outside with his pals just as much as any other child would. On the other hand, this young boy stood out from the rest of his friends. Because he had such a deep fascination for autos, he spent all his spare time constructing model cars out of rudimentary components and equipment. In addition to that, he was a voracious reader and consumed anything he could find on exotic automobile legends like Ferrari, Maserati, and Lamborghini. He deeply desired to move to Modena in Italy, where he could develop his automobiles and become a part of that world. While reading Reader's Digest one day, Horacio came across Leonardo da Vinci's Pieces, who was greatly regarded as one of the most brilliant brains in history. The article contained a quote from someone who said that art and science are complementary fields. Therefore, in Horacio's view, the two disciplines could be used together to create a masterpiece that would be both aesthetically pleasing and practically useful. This led him to a previously unexplored road. From that point forward, Horacio's creations and his studies were all influenced by the principles that Da Vinci had developed. He made it a point to incorporate elements of art and engineering into all aspects of his work daily. One of the most exciting of his many ideas was a Formula 2 single-seater race car. Horacio and a couple of his close pals decided to enter the Argentinian Championship in 1979. Horacio finally finished the project, having built just a small bit of the car. He had begun the project 2 years earlier and overcame several hurdles. The engine was the only thing missing, but he secured sponsorship from Renault, which supplied the required power unit. Oreste El Mago Berta, one of the world's finest automotive engineers, and five-time Formula One world champion Juan Manuel Fangio were both interested in learning more about the designer of such an amazing vehicle because of the meticulous attention to detail and inventive design it featured. Horacio had no idea at the time that these exceptional guys, two of his greatest heroes, would one day become his life coaches and, more importantly, would assist him in turning his dream into a reality. A tent, 2 bicycles, and a suitcase stuffed with dreams are all that Horacio Pagani and his young wife Cristina had when they decided, in December of 1982, to move to Italy without even being certain that they would be able to find work there. Even though Fangio prepared letters of introduction and recommendation on Horacio's behalf to some of Italy's most prominent automobile manufacturers, this was not enough to ensure that Horacio was hired by one of these companies. The automobile market was struggling, and as a result, employment opportunities drastically shrank. Because of this, Horacio began to hunt for odd jobs and educated himself on living on a minimal budget to survive. It wasn't until a few months later that Automobili Lamborghini's bodywork division took him on as a mechanic. Despite having a shaky start, he proved his worth by consistently displaying high dedication and enthusiasm for his work. He arrived early every morning and stayed late every night. Even after eating, he delved into the design and production challenges surrounding sports cars. In 1985, the young Horacio was put in charge of the newly established composite material department. In this role, he participated in the design of the Countach Evoluzione, the first road car to be entirely made of composite materials using technologies that had previously been the exclusive purview of the aerospace industry and the racing world. The finished product of this endeavor was one of the most innovative automobiles of its era, and in Horacio's perspective, it paved the way for the future of sports cars by putting an emphasis not only on fuel economy and safety, but also, and perhaps more crucially, on their low weight. After that, Horacio, who was always one step ahead of the competition, made it his mission to convince Lamborghini to invest in an autoclave to mass-produce composite components. Nevertheless, management declined since they did not think the potential could be realized. Therefore, Horacio went to the bank, secured a loan, and purchased his own autoclave. He also rented a facility close to the Lamborghini plant and started doing research and development work there, which would be useful to him in the future. Horacio's fascination and mastery of materials had developed in his childhood experiments, and he had a detailed understanding of how they behaved. However, real advancements came about when he designed and built a single-seater race car out of fiberglass. During the production of the Countach Evoluzione at Lamborghini, Horacio also became aware of the significant potential offered by systems based on composite materials, particularly carbon fiber. At the end of the 1980s, just as the economic crisis appeared to strike its heaviest blow on the world economy and, even more savagely, on the supercar market, Horacio decided to bet all on realizing his ambition no matter the cost. At this challenging time, he established Modena Design, a company that produced cutting-edge composites for world-renowned companies like Renault, Daihatsu, Ferrari Formula One, Aprilia, and Dallara. But it was throughout this time that Horacio Pagani worked on his own automobile, which he would soon name the Fangio F1, in honor of his close friend Juan Manuel Fangio. The design process moved forward, but Pagani still needed an engine for his supercar. At that point, any attempt to manufacture engines would have been prohibitively expensive. Again, Fangio could lend a hand because of the ties he had established at Mercedes. Taking the blueprints of what would eventually become the Zonda to the head of Mercedes-Benz, Der Zech. After that, the German company consented to provide Pagani with the engines. At the time, the S-Class was equipped with an M126 6.0-liter V12 engine, which could be found beneath the hood. Fangio's untimely death in 1995 at the age of 84 was a terrible blow to the Pagani automobile company. Pagani was hampered, and even more, by significant issues such as the contracting supercar market, which was impacting even companies of the caliber of Lamborghini. However, Lamborghini threw a curveball at Pagani at that time that nearly changed the project's entire path. Pagani was caught off guard by this development. Lamborghini proposed to buy Pagani's project and also provide funding. Although the financial backing would have been a huge help, Pagani's vision could have been impeded as a result. After consulting with the rest of his family, his son persuaded him to continue working alone. Pagani bit the bullet and continued developing the car until it debuted at the 1999 Geneva Auto Show. The Mercedes-powered Zonda, which had an appearance that was razor-sharp, pointed, and angular, astounded spectators. The Zonda's V12 engine produced 395 horsepower and 420 pound-feet of torque. It only weighed 2,800 pounds despite having a manual transmission, making it a true driver's car. Pagani Automobili's Zonda caused more established supercar makers to take notice, so Horacio Pagani became a big name. The Zonda did not sell quickly due to its high price tag of $280,000 and its limited production of only 3 first Zonda C12s. On the other hand, it was a great launchpad for Horacio Pagani and his group. It was the beginning of the next iteration, the C12S, which had a new AMG M297 7.0-liter V12 engine capable of producing 542 horsepower. The C12S put the company on the map as a serious contender. In addition, as we all know, numerous iterations of the Zonda, such as the Zonda Roadster, have been produced throughout its history. Today, the composites Horacio began experimenting with decades ago are used in various industries such as aerospace, the military, and healthcare. Orthotics, prosthetics, and exoskeletons are just a few of the illustrious applications that some visionary men have continued to develop for several decades. Horacio Pagani can build hypercars that reach some of the highest levels of efficiency and performance that can be found in the automobile industry thanks to his extensive experience and ability in his profession. When he acquired his first autoclave, Horacio made it his mission to investigate advanced composite material search. This became a revolution that cannot be stopped and is always changing, which eventually developed into a system of processing that is very specialized and accurate and requires a labor force with a high level of expertise. When you first see a Zonda or a Huayra, the first thing that you will note is the front hood with its herringbone weave pattern. This pattern represents the pursuit of technical research and the hunt for beauty. Every single craftsman has their own one-of-a-kind set of skills, and they each lend their own personal touch to the final product, which sets it apart from anything else on the market. Pagani's carbon fiber composites are a new technique for constructing hypercars. Nevertheless, they also embody and share the same passion and mastery as Pagani's previous work. That's all from this video. What do you think of Pagani's rise? See you in the next one.